Well, I think on not yesterday, the day before stage, I think that was energy that she didn't need to waste before that final 6-kilometre climb that we had up Lagunas de Neas for the second time. So she will still be learning a lot about herself when it comes to Grand Tours and stage race riding. So yeah, very, very impressive from Cedrine, and it'll give her and the team a lot of confidence going into the Tour de France fan.
Your general classification is on your screen. Demi Vollering going into the day, leading Anna van der Breggen by 45 seconds. Marlen Reusser third at 46, so just 1 second separating the rider. First and 3 in the line here. Cedrine Cabal starting the day in 4th on general classification and 1 minute and 49 seconds. So our top 4 overall in La Vuelta are all right here. Van der Breggen setting the tempo, setting the pace. You feel at the moment, so we look at this point of the climb. This is this kilometre averages 8.3%, where we go through 3 kilometres to go. Then we've got the next section averages 8% and then 8.7%, but we get up to 12% as we get in towards the final part of this climb.
Yeah, so for these riders, they have to bear that in mind, and that's what I mean by measuring your effort and knowing the climb well. So these riders wouldn't have had the chance to recce it, but they would have done their homework.
Monica Trinca-Colonel goes through 3 kilometres to go. Can she climb her way back to that group ahead of her? We go back to our leading group. We have the Cannondale bike on the back of Cedrine Cabal, the Canyon of Marlen Reusser, then the 2 specialised riders for Anna van der Breggen and the FDJ Suez rider, Demi Vollering. Van der Breggen just riding the way she used to. In the past, before she retired, this sort of effort would have left her alone. But this is where we talk about how the sport has moved on and the growth of riders like Demi Vollering, Marlen Reusser, Cedrine Cabal, and the others.
And this is what we love to see, isn't it? And it is that growth and the strength and depth that we've now got within women's cycling. And I really feel that women's cycling has never been in a better place. You know, we've had the growth across the board, and exactly, I completely agree with you, Marty. We would have just seen 1 rider at this stage on a 10-kilometre climb in the past, and now we've got 4 riders through 4 different teams that are battling for this final stage of the Vuelta. So it's really, really brilliant to see, and I think there is still growth to be made, and I think that's almost sort of consolidating on the growth that's already been made, not maybe adding, you know, more days and longer days, but the investment into the lower level. I think that's what could really be done next to continue this growth and upward trajectory that we've got within women's cycling.
Because we do still have a lot of our 3rd division teams, our continental teams, where a lot of riders are still not earning a salary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the development teams and the support around the riders as well that needs to be looked at, where that pool comes from, just to make sure it's the depth across the board, not just those top tier riders that we've got that are on, of course, the highest salaries. But yeah, I mean, the growth that we've made in the last couple of years is almost indescribable. So we are going in the right direction and always try and be as positive as we can be.
And this stage alone shows, because in the past, and the Giro Donne would have it and other races, we would have a flat run in up to the mountains. We're now having 3 mountains within 1 stage, where, you know, when we started commentating together, 8 years ago, that was never a thing.
And look at the size of the group that we had coming into the final climb. It was a big, big group. Just seeing Juliette Labouche, she's waving her hands in the air here. I'm just wondering what that's for.
Just see if there's a bike just ahead of them or
motorbike generally,
something.
Yeah. It's normally just a frustration that maybe there's a motorbike in front of them, not going fast enough, or maybe offering a little bit of assistance to the rider in the lead, perhaps.
Are we just going to get a sprint out here for the seconds? Because you come to the summit of this, 10, 6 and 4 seconds on offer on the line. Vollering's content to just sit here. She's got 45 seconds over Van der Breggen and Reusser in the overall. Even in 2 kilometres, anyone else, you would say, yes, someone could take that sort of time out of someone. But to take 45 seconds out of Demi Vollering, on her terrain.
It's not going to happen.
2 kilometers is not going to happen. To sit and just set tempo on the front like we have. For me, Van der Breggen needs to drop back and hit her with attacks and try and change it up now. She's tried to sort of sit and ride away. And it hasn't happened. And I feel the rider that I think for me looks good as well come the finish, knowing how explosive she is, if she can ride into the finish, is Cedrine Cabal on the back.
Yeah, and that has to be Cedrine Cabal's big target here to take the stage win. You know, the time gap between Marlen Reusser and Cedrine Cabal is just too big now for Cedrine to be able to close in 1 minute and 1 minute and 3 seconds, the gap between Reusser and Cedrine Cabal. So that's not going to happen in 1.7 kilometres. So that's what Cedrine Cabal is looking for here, that big stage victory on the final day of the Vuelta. The biggest battle on our hands is the one between Anna van der Breggen and Marlen Reusser. 1 second separating them, and with those times on the line. That is what we are looking at here. So the stage victory, and then our podium placings of 2nd and 3rd, and what that's going to look like.
We're heading up into the clouds. You can see the helicopter here is just on the fringe of the clouds. We've got bonus seconds on the line, so it could come down to a throw to the line for those bonus seconds. It's a lesson in patience here as well for riders like Cedrine Cabal. Out of the saddle, and Demi Vollering attacks. It is time to go. It's time for business here on the climb for Demi Vollering. Van der Breggen manages to react to the attack here of Demi Vollering. Van der Breggen has just been riding tempo, just been looking at the head unit, riding the numbers here on this climb. Vollering attacks, and her nearest rivals at the moment are all able to go with her. Cedrine Cabal elbows out on the back of the group. Can she manage to stay with this one? Vollering will look around. Will she knock off the speed? She does. Flick of the elbow. What you feel here as well is I was going to say, you don't want Cedrine Cabal to go too early on this climb. It's got to be a lesson in patience. Vollering's tried the first attack. Now she knows that everyone can go with her. She knows she's got this race sewn up. Now maybe take it down to a sprint.
Yeah, Demi Vollering wants another stage victory, doesn't she? She wants to wrap up this Vuelta with her arms aloft in the air. She clearly was riding within herself on the wheel of Anna van der Breggen. She just wanted to push on the pace, just see what it did to the other riders that are following here. Cedrine Cabal looking to be the rider that's struggling the most, but still managing to hang on. Anna van der Breggen happy to again come through and ride her own tempo as we come into the Flamme Rouge. We know it kicks up again here. So that final kilometre averaging just over 9%, and we know that's where the biggest differences can be made, on those steeper gradients where you get a lot less protection on the wheel. 10% here.
10%. 1 second separating the two riders on the front in 2nd and 3rd on the general classification as Marlen Reusser shifts her hands down onto the drops. Demi Vollering would feel that she has a good sprint at the top of a climb such as this, but it could be the punchy French rider on the back, Cedrine Cabal, as we go back to Niamh Fisher-Black and Juliette Labousse behind as Fisher-Black into the final K. Van der Breggen out of the saddle. Is Vollering going to make a move? She doesn't perhaps fancy the chances of taking this down to a sprint. She's looking to try and use the steep sections of this climb to go clear, and the gap maybe a metre or so opening. Van der Breggen spinning that gear. Cabal, though, unfortunately just starting to drift off the back under the second attack here of Demi Vollering, but Marlen Reusser trying to come through. Can Cabal find a way to get back on?
Daylight now between Demi Vollering and Marlen Reusser. She's going to push hard for this now in the last 700 metres. Marlen Reusser as well looks to be distancing Anna van der Breggen.
Vollering, the acceleration, the seated acceleration that we have seen so many times in the career of Demi Vollering. She now rides clear, looking to try and finish this year's Vuelta in the same fashion that she finished last year's. And Vollering riding clear and putting time into the second and place riders behind her. Vollering 48 career victories for the Dutch rider. She finished that stage to the summit finish in last year's race in that red jersey to take the general classification. The battle here between Marlen Reusser and Anna van der Breggen for the podium is really on.
For seven stages, that general classification of second and third to come down to 1 second is really nail-biting stuff. But this is looking really good for Demi Vollering. She's showing us yet again what a superstar she is in a league of her own. Clearly happy under the pressure of Anna van der Breggen, who's done the majority of this climb on the front now.
Out of the saddle, the big effort to the summit for the red jersey in the Vuelta. What a way to finish this one off. Marlen Reusser for the Spanish team of Movistar, looking for the second spot on the podium as Vollering spins now towards the summit. There is a reason why she has the #1 on her back, and this is the reinforcement of the best stage race rider of her generation as she comes through the clouds up towards the summit. It is going to be a second stage win of this year's Vuelta, and with it another red jersey. Demi Vollering defends La Vuelta in incredible fashion. Another stage victory, a lesson in patience behind Marlen Reusser. Comes through for second place, and with it bonus seconds and puts time into Anna van der Breggen. That moves Marlen Reusser up in the general classification to second place. But you've got to say, a stage win and third on GC for Anna van der Breggen. She is well and truly back, and the French rider Cédrine Cabau comes home in fourth place, fourth on general classification. The young French rider